Hello everyone. In the last video, we all came to know how horrifying inflation could be and how inflation collapsed the monetary systems of the countries like Zimbabwe and Venezuela. Now, in this video, let's understand why inflation still happens and how can we deal with it. Firstly, one obvious reason is the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. The world's economy was influenced heavily, especially US. The economy of United States is showing a downward trend. Guess what? The US government rose and kept on rising the interest rate in order to stabilize its own economy. But this activity led the FDIs to pull out the money from the other global market, which is the main reason to pass on the potential economic crisis to all the world. As a result of which, the prices of raw material rose sharply, as well as the prices of other common commodities also got impacted. So, this imported inflation affected many countries around the world, including India. Another important reason is the rising price of the crude oil. High price of crude oil is the biggest factor for the inflation in India, as it accounts for more than 40% of the total consumer price index. Since Russia-Ukraine war, international oil price has been rising, and the situation of India is that it needs to import nearly 80% of the crude oil every year to meet the domestic demand. Another point is that crude oil is just a very important basic material. It influences many other final products and services whose base is dependent upon the crude oil derivatives. This indirectly impacts the price of the raw material that further impacts transportation and production, ultimately leading to the price rise of all the other goods. Of course, there are many other reasons behind inflation in India, such as the outflow of the foreign capital, the fluctuation of food prices, and so on. The list is so big that we should stop here because this video will not be enough to cover it 100%. Well, now we know the causes and effects of inflation. The last question is how to deal with it. The first method is consumption ahead of time, which means buying things in the present time itself that you need in the future. Let me ask you one question. Why we all are working hard and earning money for? Of course, to spend it for better and comfortable living, right? But under the circumstances of inflation, the money that we are earning now, if we don't use it now, but save it for the future, maybe you will end up buying less things in the future because the cost of everything might have increased drastically. So, if you buy all the things you need in advance, even if inflation devalues the money, you will not be affected. But what kind of goods it can be? It should be something that can be stored for a long time and whose value will not decrease, such as gold and real estate. Another way to deal with inflation is the investment. Because of inflation, the value of money will certainly depreciate over time as long as you save it in the banking institutions. So, if you can use the money you earned to invest and produce more money, then in the future, your returns on investments can definitely beat the rate of inflation. Let me take a simple example. Assume that at present, you can buy a packet of bread for 30 rupees. But because of inflation, the same packet of bread may cost you 60 rupees in 10 years duration. That means after 10 years, you just need to earn that extra 30 rupees to beat the inflation. Then you will have in total 60 rupees to buy the same bread at that particular time. And only through investment you can achieve this. As long as the rate of return on investment is consistent with the rate of inflation, the impact caused by inflation can be eliminated. If the rate of return on investment exceeds the rate of inflation, then it's a party time for you. That's all about this video, and thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit that like button, and for such interesting topics, subscribe to our channel